We are live, and this is a good episode. Happy New Year's, everybody. First of all, we got a good episode coming your way. Jake Beck is joining the show, obviously. Big showdown. It is the final week of the regular season. Can you believe it, Sheets? We are ready down to the last week. We know the scenarios. We know what everybody has to do. The question is, what's going to happen? And so we got a good show coming your way. We're going to break down some of the games from last week and, of course, give our picks for the last week of the regular season, which will set up our playoff spectacular next week. So we'll get Jake back in here in about an hour or so. But first, Sheets, it's been a very bad week for our college teams, but a very great week for our pro teams. So I'll let you decide which one we open up with first.
Yeah, we can get the college football out of the way. Um, Bowl games don't mean shit anymore, in my opinion, unless you're in the playoff or you're maybe one of the top three, two bowl games out of that. It's kind of like whatever. Of course, we're saying this as both our teams get throttled. Um, Iowa State loses by 10, being 11-point favorites or 10-point favorites. The Hawkeyes had the best coach in history and somehow blow their bowl game. But shitty for our college teams. But if you're going to ask me before that week, if I would rather have the Packers and Colts win versus the Hawkeyes and Cyclones at this moment, I would have picked the Packers and Colts. So I'm happy. But yeah, shit week. I know you have some words about probably one of the most decorated long term best coaches ever named Kirk Ferentz. So I kind of let you take from that.
Well, you just honestly you said it best. If you could pick between the two teams to win, the right one's won. I think bowl games do mean something to just to certain teams it does, maybe to certain teams it might not. I would have liked for it to mean something to Iowa this year. I think it would have been a good chance to pick up a good win and really feel great about the season. Obviously, we lost our starting quarterback midway through the year, and we lost our star tight end, and we lost our backup tight end. So, I mean, the season could have just been shitty the rest of the way. And I think Kirk Ferentz did a good job of at least being resilient and responding to that, and then getting us to the West champs and to the Big Ten championship game. But I mean, I don't need to talk too much about it. We were shut out against all the ranked teams we played this year. We played three ranked teams, got shut out. It's the first time Iowa's been shut out three times in any season since 1972. So there's a lot of good things that happened and also a lot of bad things that happened. It was obvious that we were playing the wrong guy at quarterback. I mean, the first play that Mark Elenas came in, he was just making plays with his feet, and he just added an extra element to the offense that wasn't existent the last couple of weeks. So it's a mixed bag of emotions. I think Kirk Ferentz did a great job of responding and getting us to the Big Ten championship game because we could have folded and been a shit year. But he also made the wrong decisions. Ipso facto, his OC, his son at OC years ago, and then of course just sticking with quarterbacks when they're clearly not the thing. The kicker misses a field goal. He benched him, and then the backup came in and won it for us against Nebraska. We've had running backs fumble. He yanks them, but the quarterback can just go out there and stink it up all week and week in and week out, and he sticks with them. And then the fans make the mistake of yelling at the quarterback. It's like, dude, we need to stop yelling at the quarterback. Yell at the dude who's putting that guy out there. So that's my thoughts about the game. Kind of sucked, but you're right. The right teams won this week. Season's over for college football. Fuck it. I don't care about that shit until maybe a little bit of spring ball, but until the fall season hits, a little bit, July, August, I don't give a shit about Iowa football right now. It's off the slate right now. This is an NFL show. Let's talk about our NFL teams. I'll let you start. Packers had a big win, and you guys are now in the playoffs situation as that 7 seed. And pretty much, you're in the win and get in now. You beat the Vikings on the road. The Colts voided a big bad loss, and that sets up a win and get in for us as well. So I'll let you start. What are you feeling about the Packers, and what do you got to say to any Vikings fans who are tuning in this week?
First off, Happy New Year, Sheets. We may be looking at a Colts or Packers Super Bowl 2024 season. That's not too
Right.
far away. So, yeah, big win. It was a Sunday night game. So you watch the noon slate, then the afternoon slate. You kind of get nervous all day. Obviously, I don't need to speak on how big the game was, but we went into Minnesota and, quite frankly, kicked their ass. Their quarterback situation over there in Minnesota is a shit show. Jordan Love, I don't know if you can read my headliner down there, but I'm I know I told you a while ago I was going to wait till the end of the season to make my decision on Jordan Love. I love him. I don't need to wait anymore. It's over. We got another generational QB. He's going to put up numbers like Rodgers and Favre. He's just getting started, not only for his career, but this year. I think he's going to make a good – hopefully we beat the Bears. We'll get to that point later. But, yeah, feels good. Beat the shit out of the Vikings in Minnesota. They looked freaking terrible. We looked great. I'm confident. Hosting Chicago, although it feels a lot like last year when all we had to do was beat the Lions to get in and we lost. So there's a little bit of that in the back of my mind, but we kicked the shit out of Chicago the first time in their house. I think we'll do it again. But I'm happy as can be as a Packers fan. I cannot believe we're in this position.
I'm happy for you, Sheets. It's been a long year for both of our teams, but I think it's been even more bumpy for the Packers because you've been in and out of the playoff race. The Colts have kind of been in the scenario the last few weeks, so it's been really a roller coaster of emotions for you. So I'm glad you're in as of now when it matters most. Obviously, you said you still have to play the Bears. Obviously, you still have to play the game. You got to show up, do your thing, and I believe the Packers will. I'm not worried about that. I like the Packers in that game. Chicago had all their opportunities in the world to do something this year. They were still going into last week, still in the playoff race. So, I mean, obviously very slim chances, but I think they did. A lot of people thought they were going to the playoffs this year. A lot of Bears fans thought they were going to the playoffs, but our realistic expectations were they were going to be 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 wins. So I think they did fairly well for realistic expectations. If you were a realist Bears fan, I think you're about all right with how the year went. But I think you're gonna beat them.
Are you though? Are you happy if you're a Bears fan? Because you just played yourself out of a good draft pick, and you're gonna miss the playoffs by 2 games or 1 game, depending on how next week goes. So you're kind of. I guess they do have the number 1 pick next year. They locked that in. They for sure have the number 1 pick. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. Well, I want to know your thoughts on Jordan Love. Where are you at with him?
I like him. I was pretty optimistic about him all year. Obviously, he didn't have some great games, but I was saying all year, my dude, the Packers are a well-ran organization. They wouldn't leave this guy on the bench for 3 years if they knew he wasn't in. If he knew he was bad, if they knew he sucked, they wouldn't leave him on the bench for 3 years and then have him be the starter. Okay, the Packers aren't a shitty ran organization. They actually know what they're doing. So I was optimistic that he was going to play well. Even there's bad games, and Mike just let's wait and see. And that's what obviously the Vikings were, pretty down bad in terms of, who they're playing Nick Mullins, and they're like, oh, we're going to start Jaren Hall, and we're going to go to Nick Mullins. Josh Dobbs was in there a couple times. It wasn't the best version of the Vikings, but you still handled business, kicked their ass on the road regardless. So Jordan Love, I think, has proven himself. Even if you happen to lose right away in the wild card, I think he's proven himself. But he does have to win next week, I guess, to say that for sure. But I think you guys will. I'm not worried about it. I think you're going to beat the Bears. So, congrats.
And your Colts, they squeak out a 3-point win against kind of a frisky Raiders team. What do you got on that one?
It wasn't pretty. It was actually very stressful. It wasn't our best played game. But I've said all year long, there's a difference between coaching this year and the past. Games like this in the past, we would have blown. We would have lost them, and fucking this game next week wouldn't have mattered. This guy, even when it gets a little dicey, he still is a different type of cat. He's a different type of coach. Steichen is. He's the real deal. And so we held on and won. That's all that mattered. That's all we needed to do. We just needed to set up this game. We couldn't blow it last week. We needed to set it up for this game, and that's what we did. So here we are in the present. We got to focus on this game. Houston Texans, this is what I'm thinking. You just got to be week 18 champs. So no matter what happened in the past, it's over. This week. You got to be champions of week 18, and I feel confident that we will be. Indianapolis is an old school. We will go back to the Baltimore days. We're an old school AFC team. We got history. We have tradition. Johnny Unitas, the modern quarterback, changed the way the NFL was played. The way the quarterbacks you see today, Peyton Manning's, Ben Roethlisberger's, those guys owe it to Johnny Unitas. He changed the game, revolutionary, won a bunch of AFC titles back in the day. Had our lumps, here and there, but we were pretty good in the 80s, 90s with Jim Harbaugh. and then Peyton Manning took over, and we became a dynasty of the AFC South. No one could touch us. We went to 2 Super Bowls, won one of them, and those are the glory years. This is a team of tradition, is what I'm trying to say, especially in the 21st century. Let's go back the past 20 years now. We're 23 years into this decade. We've been one of the better teams in the NFL historically. We ran into a little bit of a muck when our superstar quarterback retired a week before the regular season, unexpectedly after a playoff run. But now we're back. I think we finally we hit a few snags, but here we are. We have a chance to go back in the playoffs. It's the team of tradition, historically, going back to the 50s. What has the Houston Texans ever fucking done? That's what I'm trying to say. What have the Houston Texans ever done?
Nothing.
The best thing the Houston Texans have ever done in their franchise was get ahead of the Chiefs in the AFC divisional. They got up big, like 23 to 24-0 at halftime, and then they blew it. That's the best thing they've ever done, was beat the Chiefs for 2 quarters and then blow it. I don't think they've ever been in an AFC championship game. They drafted a very good quarterback, Derek Carr, with their first expansion pick. Didn't build no line around him. He was the most sacked quarterback of all time. He got hurt, fucking ruined the franchise. You have Deshaun Watson. Oh, second chance here with this guy. Nope. We know what happened there. The guy's a freak. They've never done anything. They're not going to win this game. CJ Stroud, not really running his mouth, but getting a little too big for his britches. I've been saying this all year long when I do my quarterback rankings. They're like, why does CJ Stroud needs to be top 5, top 10? I say, no, he's a rookie. He's playing good, but you got to give him his due. He's got to earn his dues. I don't think he's going to win this game. I think the moment is too big for him. At home, I like Gardner Minshew. I like Jonathan Taylor and company. I like the young Hawkeye, Tyler Goodson. Michael Pittman's back. Nearly got his neck taken off a couple weeks ago. He's balling out last week. Got his jersey on TikTok shop for $17. I didn't know that was a thing. Shout out Rob Reichert. My buddy told me. You can get jerseys on TikTok shop and then get there in like a couple weeks. They're cheap. So hopefully we can handle business this week, because I got a Michael Pittman jersey. Michael Pittman Jr. jersey coming my way in 2 weeks. Shout out TikTok. Colts are going to win this week. CJ Stroud is talented, no doubt. I'm not knocking him, but he hasn't earned his stripes yet. That's a Colts team of traditions. Been there before. We got a brand new coach.
I got a question for you. I got something to say about the Colts, and then I got a question about the Colts. I'm pretty sure the first podcast we released, we did our preseason stuff. We were talking about the Colts and how they were going to be. If I remember right, I think we said like 5, 6, 7 wins was the ceiling.
Yeah.
We're sitting here January 2nd, and the Colts are 1 win away from a 10-win season without their number 4 draft pick pretty much the whole year. And if they win, they're in the fucking playoffs, which is nuts. And then secondly, my question is, was there something last year, and I don't mean to bring this up if it was bad, because I don't remember for sure, but did the Colts lose week 18 to miss the playoffs last year? Or was there some drama there?
2 years ago. Last year, we brought in old man Matt Ryan, and we sucked ass all year. Weren't even close to sniffing the playoffs. And then we brought in a talk show morning host to be our head coach, Jeff Saturday. Last year, there was no playoffs. 2 years ago, we had to beat Jacksonville Jaguars, who were the worst team in football. We did have to go on the road, but they're the worst team in football. The fans were wearing paper bags over their head trying to get the owner fired, the GM fired, the fucking popcorn attendants fired. They were the laughingstock of the NFL. Carson Wentz couldn't get it done. And, I don't like to bring up the past, but Carson Wentz blew it. But like I said, that was the past. This is the present. Gardner Minshew.
So none of that. You're not worried about any of that.
Because this coach is different. This guy is different. Fucking Frank Reich sucked. He was horrible. He got fired from the Panthers this year. He got fired in the middle of the season twice in a row with 2 different organizations, 2 different conferences. He went to the NFC, got fired in the middle of the season after getting fired in the middle of the season in the AFC. Guy was no good. This guy is good. He built up Philly. Everything we see today from Philly, he laid the groundwork for that. He was the OC, the mastermind behind it. We'll see how Philly does down the stretch. I don't think they'll get back to the Super Bowl. If this guy was the OC this year, they probably would be. So we're going to beat the Houston Texans this week. What I'm trying to say.
I like it. I hope you do. I hope you do, Sheets.
I hope we do also. But you're confident. I'm confident about the Colts. What is your official stance on the Packers? Don't give me no wishy-washy stuff. Tell me what's going to happen.
It's written in the stars sheets.
Yeah.
We started this Lamb on the Line podcast with teams with not insane hopes. Here we are, both in win and get in situations against teams we're familiar with. Are you guys playing at home? Are you in Houston?
At home.
Yeah, both at home. I think this podcast leaped both of our teams into the playoffs. I think we're both going to win. I don't know how convincingly they will be. They don't need to be convincingly. If it's a 1 point win, I don't give a shit. Get yourself our teams into the playoffs and give them a shot, because there's nothing better than watching your team in the playoffs. There's just everything's on the line. If you can win one, even more so better. I mean, I think we're both going to be there. I think there's a reason why, and it's because of Lamb on the Line.
Right. This is the step. This is the steps you want to get. If you're a fan of an NFL team, this is the steps you want to get to. You want to get to an opportunity to get yourself in the arena. This week we have the opportunity to get ourselves in the arena, and if we get into the arena, that's the main goal. We just want to get there. What happens after that. That's always been my philosophy. Obviously, if you're the 1 seed, expectations are high, but it's just a matter of getting there. That's what I want every year. I want to have the opportunity to get there. That's what we have in front of us this week. And then then you're there. You're in the arena. That's all you can ask for, especially for teams that the season could have gone exactly the opposite the other way. We're here right now. We got to handle business and then just get to the playoffs. It's a good philosophy to have. All right. What games do you want to start with here? Some of these games, let's just glance over some of these games to set up to week 18. We have to go back to December 28th, back to 2023. Back on the 28th was the Thursday night game. And it was the Browns handling the Jets, taking care of business, 37-20. We don't need to talk much about the Jets per se, but the Cleveland Browns locked up the 5 seed. They could have easily lost that game, and it would have been a little dicey going into week 18, but no. The old man showed up again. I didn't think he was going to do it. I bet against him. So I was wrong on that one. 3 touchdowns again, 300 yards again. What do you think? What do you think about the Browns?
I think that the AFC is lucky they don't get a home playoff game, because I've said it before, their home defense and record is nuts. The fact that they're a 5 seed, I'd still be a little scared to play them. I mean, you got old man Joe freaking slinging rock everywhere across the field I'm pretty sure he's the 31st. Yeah, he's the 31st most passing yards in Browns history. He's played six games. He passed Johnny Manziel this week.
Oh my.
I like it. I can't wait to watch them in the playoffs. I'm a little afraid that if they're on the road, they're probably going to be beaten. If they're the 5 seed, that means they're playing the 4. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
It could be anybody.
And right now, that is who?
Right now it could be Jacksonville, but it could be Indianapolis. I think it could be Houston even, maybe. Maybe not.
Okay.
I don't know. It could be Indianapolis, I know. Depending on if we win and the Jags lose. And then it could be maybe the Bills too. Dolphins. I think there's a lot.
The Bills. The Bills are either the 2 seed or possibly out.
Oh, that's right.
But I didn't even realize they could be playing the Colts. That's a defense I don't want to play in the playoffs. And I think they're legit. If Joe Flacco, which he's kind of proven to do over the last 6 weeks, plays well, and like he has, it's going to be a tough team to beat.
It could be. It could be. The thing is, he has to go on the road. Can he do it on the road? We'll have to see. But the handled business, that's all that matters. Here, we got a message. I think you must have just joined in. Reiterate your your Packers Bears pick this week.
All right. It's pretty simple. The Bears are getting better every week. They started out really, really shitty. All of a sudden, their defenses came on. They've added some people. They've started to look better. They're still not going to beat the Green Bay Packers. Shane Hexum. That's just, I don't care. Like I said, if we win by 1, if we win by 30, we will win that game. We're not going to lose to the Chicago Bears at home Is this guy a Bears fan? Do you know, or is he a Packers fan?
Shane, high school buddy, he's a Packers fan.
All right. So Shane, if you're listening, we're going to the playoffs. Don't worry about the Bears. This is one of the rare spots where I will look ahead and not go week by week. I'm looking ahead. It's the fucking Bears. We're not losing to the Bears. There you go,
All right.
Shane.
All right.
There's your professional opinion.
So yeah, Joe Flacco on the road. I don't know. I would think we'll see how it plays out. I don't think the Browns are going to win a game, but I think they should be just happy with where they're at. Let's move on.
I didn't
to
think so
Saturday.
either until I knew they were playing your division. It's kind of interesting, but go ahead. Sorry.
Right.
Go to the next one.
The Saturday game, Sheets, was an all timer, and there's a lot to digest in this one. It was the Dallas Cowboys defeating the Detroit Lions 20-19 with a little bit of I don't even know what the word is for to describe the end of that game. A lot of flair, a lot of fireworks, a lot of emotions. If you're a Lions fan, that's a tough one. If you're a Cowboys fan, I don't really know how you feel. I don't know if you feel great about it, but you should, because now they're at the 2 seed right now, right? Is that correct? Look at the 2 seed possibly. Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, they could be. They could. Yeah, the Cowboys. Hey, really quickly before you keep going, because Shane made another comment. He said, "I was at the Lions game last year and had the same thought. That's what scares me." I don't disagree with you, Shane, because it's the exact same thing. But I'm hoping and praying and trusting that Matt LaFleur figured that shit out and learned from that loss last year, and we'll take care of business against the Bears. Sorry, I had to.
You're good. I want to say too, that was a different type of team you played last year versus the team you're playing this year. That was a hungry Lions team, and you've seen what they've become last year. We knew that was a team on the rise. Do we know the Bears are a team on the rise? No, they're the same old ass Bears. Maybe a little average, maybe a little above average, below average. Some weeks they look awful. Some weeks they even look pretty good. But they're the same old Bears. And that's what they were this year. They have the number 1 pick. We'll see what they do with it. Maybe they get better this year. But it's two different beasts between Week 18 games, I think.
And not only different teams, but that was Mr. Dan Campbell last year. This is freaking Matt Eberflus. So I'm
right.
But speaking of Dan Campbell, yeah, this Lions-Cowboys game was nuts. I assume you watched the whole game.
Yeah.
This call at the end, at the 2-point conversion with I got to hear. I mean, I'm sure. Is this riggery? Is this a fuck up? Or what? You're the rigged guy. What is going on?
It's just a matter of perception. I'm not saying I'm right or I'm wrong. From what I saw, from what I felt happened was, that game was going to be decided in favor of the Dallas Cowboys. I thought that's the way it was going to be before the game. I was all over the Cowboys money line. And it just seemed like that was the game that the Cowboys were going to win, the Detroit Lions weren't. And you can call me crazy, but then look at the guy who was called as ineligible. He did not report. Well, wait a second. There's a video of him reporting. And so they fucking lied about it. So what's the deal there? I don't know. You tell me. My perception is there were some shenanigans. And I don't think I'm stretching the truth on this one. This isn't a matter of, a guy missed a play or missed a tackle. That was rigged. We saw it was. He reported. Their video showed that. That's not conspiracy guys saying that. That's everyone. We saw it happen. It was right in front of us. And people are pissed about it for a couple days, and then their fanboy brain kicks in. They forget about it. It's the next week. A couple games go by, a year goes by, and it doesn't fucking matter. They just keep watching next year. It's the same shit. We'll talk about it for a week. It doesn't matter. We still talk about the playoff game with the Saints where they got fucked on a penalty call. But it just happens, and we go on. So until people think differently, I don't know. That was my perception. I could be wrong. Maybe there's something else that entirely happened, and I'm just missing it. That was my perspective.
It was weird. It was definitely not a normal situations. And I do. This goes back to I think the refs should have to speak to the media after a play call like that, or anything dramatic that happens because of a questionable referee call. They need to come on and speak to the media. They just like 3 questions. Give them 3 questions and that's it. But I want to hear their answers. What do we think? You know where I stand at the Cowboys. They're not going to win the Super Bowl. They maybe get to the NFC Championship, but if they do, they'll lose. The Lions. What are our realistic expectations for the Lions? Are they Super Bowl contenders, or are they still one of those teams that's maybe a year or two away? Where are you at with that?
I don't expect them to get to the Super Bowl this year. They took the next step this year and got to the playoffs, won a division. Good for them. Even if you happen to lose that first game, they've shown that they are heading in the right direction. They took the next step this year and got to the playoffs. So even if the worst case scenario for them is they lose right away, and I think you should be happy if you're a Lions fan, things are going to continue to get better. The roster is talented enough to win a game or two. I don't think they're going to win the whole damn thing. They could. They absolutely could. The roster, I think, is talented enough, but I just don't think the results are there on the field this year. I don't see that happening this year's Super Bowl. Maybe you win. I don't know if they'll be in the NFC Championship game. I don't see a Super Bowl at all. Maybe
am I crazy for saying, because I love Dan Campbell. I absolutely love everything he's about as a coach, everything about him. Why do I have this weird feeling that man's just never going to win a Super Bowl? And his whole highlight reel by the end of his career at Detroit is just him tearing up at a press conference after losing the playoffs, talking about how hard his boys fought and biting kneecaps. I feel like that might be Dan Campbell's storyline here.
Who knows? Who knows? Right now, I don't know. Right now, I know they took the next step, and they're in the playoffs. He's doing a hell of a job. We'll see what happens down the road. They're in the right direction. That's right now they are. I think if they continue to do what they did this year, in terms of the offseason stuff, if they continue to keep building and getting better, I think they're headed for success.
If you're listening and you're one of those people who think the Lions have a chance, they're plus 2,200 right now on FanDuel. So maybe if you believe that, I personally will not be taking that, but
I don't think they're winning a Super Bowl. I don't know if they'll be in the Super Bowl, but if you're, like I said, if you're a Lions fan, this has been a hell of a year, and you won the division and you're in the playoffs. Congratulations. If you happen to lose, I don't think you should be too upset. Obviously, you should think you can win a few games. You always want to do better, and but worse, they already took the next step. I think you should need to be happy regardless of what happens the rest of the way. Let's move on a little bit here. This was, expected to be a good game, but it was actually kind of a smack around, and it kind of sets up a perfect division title race here in the AFC East. The Baltimore Ravens kicked the pants off of the Dolphins at home, 56-19. Lamar Jackson had a perfect passer rating. It was a rout. What did you think about that
game? The Dolphins just continue. The Dolphins confuse the shit out of me. I think they may be frauds. I think they're such an explosive team, and I know saying this after they lose 56-19 is ironic. They're such an explosive team who can score anyway, anytime. That I don't want to see them in the playoffs if I'm an AFC team. But god damn, I don't know if this was a product of them being. Is it more of a product of them playing bad or the Ravens being that good?
It was a combination of both. Tyreek Hill's dropping wide open touchdowns and shit. And then the Ravens did put the smack down on them. Lamar.
If you had to guess their Super Bowl odds on FanDuel, what do you think it would be?
Dolphins?
No,
the Lions are plus 22.
Ravens.
Is it plus money? Plus?
Oh yeah,
it's gotta be plus. Yeah. To win I'm thinking the AFC. To win the Super Bowl, like plus 400, 450, plus 500.
Pretty close, plus 350. Only behind the 49ers at plus 210. And then after that, it's a big drop off, and your Cowboys are the third at plus 800. But I think that's worth your money at plus 350. If anything, they get to the Super Bowl and you can hedge if they happen to play the 49ers or whatever. But I think I may be taking that future.
If we're talking futures, I mean, we can bounce around from games here. If we're talking futures, though, what about the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah, plus 950. That seems like a lot for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
That if you're a Chiefs fan, you're probably hammering that, right? I mean, plus
I think
950.
if you're a betting man, I think you got to hammer that. Those odds are too great. Say they don't. Those odds are too great. This is the lowest odds the Chiefs have ever been since Mahomes has been getting here. I think you got to hammer that shit, dude. If you got some money to burn, I think it's a wise investment, at least to get out of the AFC for sure. Maybe to win the whole fucking damn thing.
Well, this might be one of those cases. Vegas wouldn't just fucking throw this out there if they really didn't believe this. Plus 850 on the Chiefs, a team with Patrick Mahomes, best player in the NFL and one of the most winning teams in the past 5 years. At their plus 850, I don't know. Something's kind of telling about that. Maybe that's an early exit for the Chiefs, but I do. Those are great odds. I may sprinkle some on that.
I mean, the odds are there for a reason, and that's because no one's taking it. Nobody's taking the Chiefs right now. Even Chiefs fans aren't taking the Chiefs right now. So when they fool the Chiefs into thinking they can't even win the Super Bowl, which makes me think they are or will get damn close. I hate saying it because I don't like the Chiefs. They're my least favorite team in the NFL. I could go on and on about them. But that's what I'm seeing. This show is called Lamb on the Line. I'm not here to dick around and fuck around. I hate the fuck out of them. I'm not going to lie. But I think they will get out of the AFC this year just because of what we're setting up. I've already hearing it. I hear things. I'm like, you hear narratives. I'm like, okay, are you telling me something here? And I'm already hearing it. Patrick Mahomes, he's never been on the road in playoffs. You know that? You know Patrick Mahomes? Yeah, everyone's saying that shit now. One person said it, now everyone's saying it. They're setting this shit up, is what I'm trying to say. They haven't looked the part. They look awful. I'm not gonna lie, but that's part of the reason why I think they've tricked the Chiefs fans into thinking they're no good this year. Chiefs fans aren't talking much right now about anything, and I think that means they're about to go on a big run. And I hate to say it, I didn't think it was going to happen, but here we are, and I think it's what's going to happen.
I think you talked me into a future bet. I'm gonna have to, while you go on to the next game or talk about whatever. I'm gonna place it actually right now, at least to win the AFC.
If the Chiefs don't get in, are they in the conversation next year to win it all? Probably. I mean,
you're always going to be in the conversation at the start of the year with Patrick Mahomes until he proves you that they shouldn't be. Everyone's going to assume they should be, and that's right. He's Patrick Mahomes.
So if they lose, they're out of the playoffs. What's going on there?
No. I think he's asking if the Chiefs don't get in this year, are they in the conversation next year? I'm assuming in the Super Bowl because we were talking about that.
Okay. Well, but can they still? Did they lock up the division? I forget what happened. The Broncos had like a small chance and they won, but didn't something else happen?
Chiefs have locked up the division. Okay. Yes.
All right. I knew the Broncos still had a chance, and then they won. So I'm like, maybe they still, but then I think something else happened, then they bounced them out. You're right. If they don't, they're in the playoffs. As long as they have Patrick Mahomes and that fat man at head coach, they'll be in the conversation every year. Yep. Trust me on that.
Yep.
Moving on to games here. We talked a little bit about the AFC South. The Texans, we already talked about them. They beat the brakes off of the Tennessee Titans. They're going to lose to the Colts. I said it already. I'll say it again. Ain't going to happen this year. Houston stays Houston. Jacksonville beat the Panthers 26-0, but they've been sliding some games. So there's a chance if they lose this week, they could, I think, even lose the division for sure, and then maybe slide all the way out. I don't know. Maybe they would get the 7, and we would just get the 4. I think
that would be crazy.
I think they locked a playoff spot. I think. I could be wrong.
They haven't clinched anything. No, I don't.
They haven't clinched the division.
They have not. They have not clinched a playoff berth, which means if they lose, there is a window of them being out. Which, what did they start the year at? They were. I know they were playing dog shit teams, but I thought they had a pretty damn good start.
Yeah, they had like 4-2 or some shit like that. I think probably
3-2, 4-2, 5-2, 6-2. They were 6-2 at one point. Yeah. So great choke job, Jaguars. Maybe.
Yeah. There's a chance they don't get in at all. I really think that if they don't play a good game, which they're capable of, they could slide right out. I'm thinking maybe Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers get in. That's a team a couple weeks ago wanted the head coach fired. like I said, they wanted the fucking popcorn attendance fire. They wanted everybody gone. And now, you know what? I think they might slide right back in. I think they might slide right in the damn playoffs. I'm going to say that right now. I think Jacksonville stinks it up week 18. They've been kind of looking not so great. They won 26-0, but if you watched a little bit of it, they still weren't looking that good. They still weren't looking that good. So I think that's my prediction, is they blow it this week. And we win the division. Pittsburgh Steelers get in. That's what I'm thinking. Moving along, the Bills. We can talk a little bit about the Bills once Beck gets on. But they did beat the Patriots by 6. Didn't look great, but we'll break down the Week 18 game with the Bills and Dolphins once Beck gets on. And Bears, Bears did beat the Panthers. No, sorry, Falcons pretty handily. 3 touchdowns, 37-17. I mean, so they did look good coming this week. I still don't think they have a chance. You said they don't think they have a chance. The Falcons drop out of the NFC, or no, they can still get in, right?
The Falcons.
Are they out? Is it a 2-man race, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, or is they still mathematically?
Oh no, it's a 3-team race.
Let's
so,
go.
Yeah, that's still means something. But you're right, they suck. So I don't put any faith in them.
Let's just break down the NFC South right now while we're fucking talking about it. You don't like talking about them. I told you, This is a fun division, and it's a 3-person race in the last week. That was what it was looking like all year long. Nobody could get ahead. So we have a Week 18 showdown between, I think 2 of these teams play each other. I'm pulling up Week 18. Yeah.
Saints play Falcons.
Saints play the Falcons. But right now, Tampa Bay has the inside track. They just have to beat Carolina, plus 5.5. I don't know, man. It seems too good to be true. It seems like that's just too easy for the Bucs. They just have to beat the Panthers. We've seen this before. The NFL loves cooking some shit up. I don't think the Bucs win. I don't think so. I think they won their big Super Bowl Week 17. Well, the real deal comes Week 18. I think they're going to lose to the Panthers, man. I think so. And then, so that means, well, what happens with the other game? Because that means the winner of the other game would get in. I've been saying it all year long. I'm sticking to my New Orleans Saints. People are laughing up I was with my buddies last week. They're laughing it up. Derek Carr didn't look good last week, and they're laughing in my face. And I mean, they ended up winning, but he didn't look good. My buddies are giving me shit. Derek Carr is going to win the division. Everybody loves to clown on him. I think this is his year. Dennis Allen, this is his year. Tampa Bay, it seems way too good to be true. They just have to win against the Panthers. This division that's not how it's going to end with just one team beating the worst team. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be mayhem. It's the NFC South. So I like the New Orleans Saints to get in. Derek Carr, be hosting a playoff game, New Orleans. Book your tickets, Saints fans. Buy the tickets now. They're getting in.
So I've obviously shit on this division all year. This week I love this division. This is going to be the best. You got the Saints, Falcons, and then the Panthers and the Bucs. So either way, let's say the Panthers beat the Bucs. That's hilarious. The Bucs just lost out because they lost to the freaking Panthers. And then the Saints get in. If the Falcons beat the Saints, Derek Carr chokes in his storyline at the kind of end of the year. And the Falcons, I don't know who gets in if the Saints lose, the Falcons win, and the Bucs win. I'd assume the Bucs. But I'm excited. This will be a great week for this division. This is no longer a box score division as of today. It is a watch live division. But make no mistake, Sheets, whoever gets in the playoffs out of these 3, there's 0 chance they win a playoff game. Even if it's your boy Derek Carr.
I disagree. You're hosting the playoff game, man. It doesn't matter if you're playing in doesn't matter if you're hosting a playoff game in goddamn fucking Kansas City, if you're hosting a game in Carolina. It's a home game. You can't say that team has 0 shot. Marshawn Lynch boys, they had 0 shot to beat the mighty Saints. They were 7-9. Hosted a playoff game. Marshawn Lynch bulldozed over fucking 15 guys in one play. Beat their ass. That was, 2011, some shit? Don't say 0% chance. No one's going to be betting on them. They're probably going to be playing, who's the 5 seed in the wild card right now, NFC?
The Eagles or the Cowboys?
Oh, yeah. Play. It may be the line will be too much to overcome. So there's a chance they lose if it's one of those. Maybe it's too big of a beast. But I wouldn't say 0% chance. It just depends on who they play. If it's one of the big boys like that, the spread's probably going to be 7 or 8, and yeah, they probably won't. They probably won't pull the whole rug on that thing. But I wouldn't say 0% chance. We'll see how
I
it.
I will. Okay, I'll take. Let me rephrase that statement. Unless they will lose, no matter who they play, unless they play the Cowboys. If they play the Cowboys, they have a chance of winning. This is me laying on the line. If they play them, the Cowboys, they have a chance of winning. If it's anyone else in the NFC, they're fucked.
I think you got that backwards, buddy.
Nope.
If they play the Cowboys, they're gonna get spanked around. Ain't gonna be close. I'll say that. I'll agree with you on that. If they play the Cowboys, it ain't gonna be pretty.
No, that would be a perfect Cowboys storyline. They lose to the fucking Falcons in the
That's
first
the
round.
best case scenario. Other than getting the 2 seed, that'd be the best case scenario. Just playing, especially if they play Atlanta. Especially even if they play Tampa Bay, they took care of business against Tampa Bay last year. Doesn't matter if you fucking put Baker Mayfield in there. It doesn't matter. That's best
We'll
case
see.
scenario.
I would love to see that play out. I would love to see the Cowboys play the winner of this division.
I would
That'd be
too.
great.
I would too. As a casual Cowboys supporter, I would too.
No, you got even even the Cowboy haters want that because if you win, it's like okay, what do you fucking do? You beat the AFC South in round 1, but if you lose, Sheets, the Dallas Cowboys lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's going to be bad. So I
don't
think
see that happening. So I'm not too worried about it.
we'll see. I'm going to set a reminder in my phone for 3 weeks from now.
Okay. You remind me. I'll say the same damn thing that I'm saying now. Let's move on. I'm back on week 18. Let's go back to week 17 here. Moving along these games. Hey, this was a fun game to watch. The Rams sneak one out over the Giants. It looked like the New York Football Giants were going to beat them, but the Rams win. So they are in playoff spot, or they still bounced out too.
The Rams,
LA Rams.
They've clinched. They have clinched a playoff spot.
That's right.
I mean, they're kind of frisky.
They are. You go ahead. That's what I was gonna say too. Go ahead.
They're kind of. I've also been on note of maybe thinking Matt Stafford was a little bit of a choker, but he's back playing well. They've got the 49ers next week, which I thought was going to be a game where they would have to win to get in the playoffs. Actually, this game really pissed me off, Meisner, because as a Packers fan, it would have made our life a little easier if – I mean, we got to take care of business anyways, but if the Rams would have lost, we'd be tied with them. They would not have clinched. And they won by a fucking missed field goal. But you know who kicked it?
Oh, I saw it. The old man.
Mason Crosby, who kicked for over a decade for the Green Bay Packers, can't put one through to win the game and help us out. Dead to me. But
come on. You're blaming him? You're blaming him?
I'm not blaming him, but come on, man. Put that through the uprights. I was sitting there at the bar like 3 beers deep, and I'm like, this is great. The Rams are going to lose. And just not even close. And
I think that was bad coaching. Mason Crosby was never really known for his leg, and we've obviously known over the last couple of years, the last years of the Packers for sure, he lost his touch on his leg, and he never was really known for that anyways. He was 54 yards in the fucking snow and sleet and fucking winter weather, and it just – I think he gave it his all. I think it was on the line. It just didn't have the distance, but we had to have – everyone knew he probably wasn't going to have the leg. I think it was stupid for them to kick it. They think they would have had a better chance. Seriously, that guy's 40 whatever years old, and they just signed him off the streets. You're asking a lot of the guy. I understand it's still a Hail Mary. Chances are slim, but I think you have a better chance of just praying one goes up and somebody lands with it. We know that guy didn't have the distance. We don't know what happens when you throw a Hail Mary. We don't know what happens. But I think we sure know as well fucking know that guy wasn't going to make a 54-yarder in the fucking wind and snow.
I mean, and I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure Mason Crosby. He's not dead to me. He looks like a very nice guy. But
he's one of the best kickers in your franchise. You can't can't judge it over a bad couple years. Believe me, I know. We had Anna Vinatieri, who had one of the worst seasons as a kicker as last year. He's one of your best. He put you in Super Bowls, dog. You can't be clowning him now.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a ring. I'm not going to clown him, but come on, imagine sitting there.
I get it.
A couple of beers deep.
You want about to go through.
And you see Mason Crosby running onto the field as a Packers fan. You're like, oh my God, this is perfect. Mason Crosby's going to put us into the Super Bowl on another fucking team, the New York Giants, and just miss. And I'm like, dude.
Right. He had to have known too. He had to have known. He's like, hey,
hell yeah. That guy. If he's listening, I'm sorry, but got to make that kick, man.
I think you blame the coach. I think we knew that. At least I knew. I was looking at that. I'm like, this guy's not gonna get he's not gonna get it there. His max and his prime wasn't much more than 50. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I thought he was an accuracy guy. He didn't miss a lot of field goals.
Yeah.
But the Rams are very frisky. They could win a game, I think, for sure. If you have Matt Stafford as a Super Bowl winner, also one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch. You know, people I hype up Derek Carr a lot and Jared Goff, but right up there is Matthew Stafford too, and he's definitely the best of the bunch. He's a proven winner, won a Super Bowl.
Agreed.
So coming back in the playoffs with some talent around him. Oof,
if the playoffs started tomorrow, they'd play the Cowboys. That'd be a great game. I'm excited to watch the Rams in the playoffs and Matt Stafford.
I am too. I've always been a Sean McVay over Shanahan guy. And
really?
I know Shanahan, they look better right now, but I still think you could argue Sean McVay has done just as good a job of coaching his team this year than fucking Shanahan done. Shanahan could have gotten themselves a couple more wins, and I think he kind of blew a couple. I think Sean McVay, I would say, if we're doing like a coach of the year rankings, I'd put him above Kyle Shanahan. I would.
Interesting. I don't know. They're two good coaches with good talent. So
Shanahan's a good coach, but what separates him from McVay is McVay has won one. He did it.
Yeah,
he's better, in my opinion.
I agree.
And then this game, we haven't talked enough about this. We need to talk about this one. I saw something before the game started. Philadelphia, Arizona. I saw something before the game. Some schmuck, and this could be a ploy too. This has actually been, a couple weeks ago there was some guy who had some crazy parlay. I guess apparently some of these sports books will they'll go in cahoots with some guy who has a following on his picks, and they'll say, "Hey, you want to promote this fucking cheesy parlay? We'll give you, a couple $100 or whatever. But just say you took this parlay and you won a shitload of money." So then all your fans the next week are taking these big parlays too. It's actually been. I've seen people talk about it. People like
really
guys who make picks on TikTok. But I've had some of these sports books, and they don't say that's what they're doing. They just, you hear about these guys who won an insane amount of money. A lot of times, obviously we've all had, we know people who've gone down and won some money on the fucking lottery and shit. So there's people who do hit parlays, but sometimes they fucking cook it up with some of these bettors, and that's not me being tinfoil guy. I've seen people talk about it.
Do you remember your best bet ever?
Best bet ever, like the money I've won the most on?
Like a bet you're like, holy fuck, I can't believe I just won that. Like, yeah, for a lot of money. Do you remember like one specific one?
Futures are always nice. Those are I put a decent amount of money on futures. So bowl games, like bowl teams that win a lot.
Any one particular though?
The
like
best
you remember?
My best bet of all time is when I took the Hawkeyes with that Barstool Sports promotion where you got the Carhartt. You had to put $100 on like the Iowa money line or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were pissing their pants, and then they ended up winning. That's one of my favorite sweatshirts to wear of all time. Is that Carhartt? Still have it. Love it. I put it on right now if you want me to.
I was just interested. Go ahead. Keep going.
But I saw something before the game started. Some asshole put a shitload of money. So, like I said, it could have been a ploy or it could have been some real guy who put his real money on it. But it was like $15,000 to win something, and it was all on 4 or 5 favorites who were favored to win by double digits. and everybody's tweeting about it. They're like, "Is this guy's bet gonna cash?" And I'm like, "Fuck, no, it's not. One of these teams is gonna blow it." So I was keeping an eye on those heavy favorite teams, and about the start of the second half, I'm like, okay, it looks like Arizona's going to be the team that knocks off Philly, and would make the most sense too. All those games. So I put a little bit of cash on the Arizona Cardinals money line. Once they started to get back in it, started to make it close, and it was past the point of like, oh, this is just a first half fluker. It looked like they're about to win it, and so I won a little bit of money on that. So I'm a Cardinals fan right now. I don't usually cheer for them, but I was cheering for them last week, and now they kind of blew the Eagles' chances a bit. Like I said, I'm not convinced this team's gonna get back to the Super Bowl this year. The best guy, the masterminds behind these teams in the past, is gone. They don't have him anymore. They let that one slip away.
Great bet, by the way, if you having the Cardinals money line. Yeah, this was nuts. I personally, the whole year, I thought the Eagles were one of the better teams in the NFL. They looked like it through week 12. Had the 1 seed, I think, locked up at one point when 49ers like dropped 2 out of 3. And now all of a sudden they suck. I know the coach, but the coach hasn't been there all year. So they wasn't there when they went 11-2 or whatever, or 10 and whatever they were. And now all of a sudden something's wrong in Philly, and I don't know what it is. I still think they can fix it. They have some time to fix it. If you got next week, and then hopefully you have a easier wild card game or a division game. Yeah, that would be a shame. One of the most talented teams in the NFL, one of the best rosters, and they just can't figure it out. They lose to the Arizona Cardinals and drop, I think, 3 of 4 now, maybe 4 or 5.
Something like that. Yeah. I think the writing's on the wall at this team. I don't think they're going to go anywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if they blow it again this week. They play a cupcake team, don't they, this week? Who they got?
The Eagles, well, they've been playing cupcake teams. They've been losing, but
That's true, right.
they play at the Giants, so who just gave the scare to the Rams.
You're right. The writing's on the wall with Philadelphia. They already clinched the playoff spot, right? Clinched the playoff spot?
Yes.
So, but they could lose round 1 the way they're playing, the way their coaches, not a fan of the guy. And apparently, neither are the fans now. The fans are starting to turn on him. I saw a lot of I don't know what the correct term was, but there was a lot of fans who were calling out the head coach and maybe some of his ethnicity too. They weren't a fan of the Italian guy. I saw some guy was cussing out, saying some stuff about Italians that I wouldn't go there with it. But the fans are getting pissed off, and rightfully so. I'm telling you, the mastermind behind that whole thing is gone. Shane Steichen is gone. They're still talented, so they're still winning some of these games, but the key component is gone. Jalen Hurts has not looked as good this year. Passing-wise, at least, his numbers aren't great. At the beginning of the year, he was throwing a lot of interceptions and not a lot of touchdowns. He's still running the ball pretty well, yeah, but they had a perfect mesh of pass and run with him in the past. This year, it's starting to get a little dicey. A.J. Brown's getting pissed off. I thought that I picked up Dallas Goedert as a tight end. They're not getting him the ball. That guy's a damn fine tight end. Get him the ball. They're not doing a good enough job getting him the ball. Doesn't matter now. Season's over, but still, the writing's on the wall. I think they might be losing right away. The Eagles have not impressed me at all. I'm not impressed with their head coach. I'm not impressed with the way things are going. They might be bounced round 1.
Yeah, I'm lacking confidence in Philly as well. And Sirianni. He'll be fun to watch if he loses.
It'd be very fun to watch if he loses. That guy doesn't handle himself with any shred of class at all. And
he just grabbed his crotch and said "see ya" to the fans at the Chiefs Stadium like 2 weeks ago. He's a great character for the NFL. I kind of like having him here.
Nick Sirianni is playing his role great. Nick Sirianni is doing exactly what Nick Sirianni should be doing for himself. I'm not arguing that. I don't think it's going to translate to wins, but for Nick Sirianni, he's playing his role well. Yeah. Grabbing his nuts, spitting, yelling at the fans, yelling. Last year, remember he was like yelling at the microphone and the cameras or some shit, acting all weird. The playoffs, whatever. He does play his character very well. I'm not denying that. Let's see. Got a couple more games here. We're saving We want to save the Bills game for Beck. So what we got? Moving on here. Yeah, okay. We got the 49ers. They beat the Commanders pretty good. I don't know what you got to say about that.
Not
Jacoby
much.
Brissett, my boy, got knocked out. That sucked. And they had no, or no, he didn't even start. That was fucking dumb. He didn't even start. They said he was going to start all week, and then before the game, for whatever reason, he couldn't go. And Sam Howell played, and Sam Howell is no good. We'll see what happens if he gets a different coach, but he has not looked good the second half.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to say
I
anything
got no 49ers great. Commanders suck. That's
the Steelers. This was a good game, and this was we'll talk a little bit more about this game here for Week 18 because it's one of the premier games. But the Steelers had a big win over the Seahawks. Like I said, I think they might be getting in the playoffs. No one thought they were going to do anything. They wanted the head coach gone. They wanted him fired, and now he has the winning season secured again, so you can't fire him. And now they might even get in the playoffs, which I think they will. They beat out Seattle. I didn't think Seattle was going to get back in. They got there last year. They got in the playoffs last year. I didn't see them getting back again this year. And they lost some key games. They blew it. Lost twice to San Francisco. Lost on Thanksgiving. They lost again this week. I think they played maybe on Christmas, some shit. I don't know. They lost that one too. And now I think they're out. I think they're out of the playoffs. Do they have any shot? Are they eliminated? Are they still alive? I don't know.
oh no. They're live sheets. This was a game unlike the Rams Giants that I was happy as a Packers fan because we had an AFC team in the hunt playing an NFC team in the hunt, being Seattle, and beat them. I watched this game very closely. Seattle, I don't know what their chances are of getting in. They're out right now. I don't think they have a great chance if the Packers win. But the Steelers, I wrote off the Steelers, and I said Mike Tomlin's old and done, and I've learned my lesson. I'm no longer, for the rest of my life, if Mike Tomlin's coaching, they will have a winning season. I thought this year was the year. Here they are again, possible 10-win season. And are they in a possible? Yeah, they could have 10 wins if they win next week against the Ravens team who is sitting everybody. So, Mike Tomlin, congratulations, you got me, and they're all of a sudden back.
And they had to play Mitch Trubisky in some key games. Mason Rudolph is starting now, but I think he's actually decent. But they had to start Mitch Trubisky in some key games. Mitch Trubisky, I don't mean to rag on the guy, but one of the worst quarterbacks in terms of when you need him the most, what's he going to do? That guy was drafted ahead of Patrick Mahomes. Oh, boy. And they survived him starting a couple key games. It's Mike Tomlin, bro. He gets it done. Gets it done. And the Seahawks, I think they are done. They still have a chance, I guess, whatever. They are done. They're out. Geno Smith's not getting in the playoffs 2 years in a row. I love, like I said, I love Pete Carroll, but Geno Smith was not going to get in the playoffs 2 years in a row. Wasn't going to happen. They got to go get a different guy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're done.
They need to get a new quarterback, too.
Maybe. Yeah, he's good, but he doesn't have a Super Bowl name in my head. Geno Smith, the 32-year-old in Seattle. I don't see it. So I'm a big guy. If it's not him, move on. If he's not going to win a Super Bowl, move on.
Right, and they got some talent. They got DK Metcalf. The defense is kind of starting to play good some weeks again. So I think Pete Carroll, people when Russell Wilson left, I remember I think it was Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowherd's like, this is the end of Pete Carroll. Well, fuck Colin Cowherd. Don't watch a stupid ass show. You want to listen, you want to learn some real shit, you watch this. He was saying that Pete Carroll wasn't going to provide this. He should retire, blah, blah, blah. He's fine. He almost got him back to the playoffs here. Yeah, they're going to fall a little bit short probably. But there's some key pieces there. Go get a young quarterback. This is a quarterback draft with some talent, with some depth in it. And whether it's a free agency, I'm not always a big fan of free agency quarterbacks. I think they need to go get a young guy and not Drew Lock. He ain't the answer. We know that. So go get a different guy. Geno Smith, man, he has nothing to hang his head about. He got into the playoffs last year. No one thought they would. And he played pretty good this year. But it is time for them to move on if they don't get in. If they get in, you got to keep them. That's my opinion. If he does get him back in the playoffs, you got to keep riding with this guy. But we'll see what happens. I don't think they're getting that. Don't see it happening. But we can talk about the Bills game now because special guest Jake Beck is in the house.
How we doing?
Hey,
What you laughing at? You got my shades on?
No, your intro there. Anyways, yeah,
How
the
we doing?
Bills. How you doing, Sheets? How are you feeling back there with your same old Bills Mafia background?
Oh, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good after Sunday or whenever they played. Did they play Sunday?
Yeah, I think so.
Sunday at
They
noon.
played.
New Year's
Yeah,
Eve,
That's
that's
a
all.
resilient team win right there.
Yeah.
You got a Belichick coach defense you see twice a year. You know he schemes up Josh Allen in the offseason. It's a good win. He didn't play well. He did not play well whatsoever. He threw the ball like garbage. But we're gonna fuck up the Dolphins. That's all I gotta say.
He
We're
did
AFC
not.
champs. You suck my fucking big fat ball, Sheets.
Well, we'll get to the Dolphins game, but Josh Allen, you're right. He didn't play his best, but he also did what he needed to do to win that game. I had him in as my fantasy quarterback in the championship, and I think he had like 20 passing yards in the first half or something like that. But he ran for 2 touchdowns, and he actually ended up doing well. So, Bills beat the Pats. You got a big game next week. You got to play. You got to go to Miami. You got to win, and you're in. If you
They're a
lose,
broken
you're
ass
maybe
team.
out. They're
They're a
broken
broken
team.
ass team.
Really?
Yes, really. All they've done is beat the fucking Cowgirls at home. Don't get me wrong, they're a better team at home. But who's out for them? Meisner, you know that?
What do you mean?
You know who's out for Miami this week?
Oh, like inactives? Let me pull.
Yeah.
I can pull it up. I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh no, I know. Beck knows it. Beck knows it. He's
No,
just asking me.
Meisner. No, I only know a couple, but I want to know. I only know 7. Like I know the number 7, but like who's particularly out? Chubb, Meisner. Please look it up.
I'm looking
I'm not trying to be your
I'm
ass.
looking it up right now.
Sheets, fuck off. I asked
He's
Meisner,
looking it up. He's looking it up.
and you fucking. What do you think about the game, Sheets? Let me ask you.
Me?
Yes.
And I'm gonna wonder if Meisner agrees with this, but I think it would be the funniest thing ever for the whole NFL year if the Dolphins, the fraud Dolphins, beat the Bills at
Dude.
home and knock them out of the playoffs. That would be hilarious. Now, with that being said, I think the Bills will probably win the game and win the division.
They still who has to lose? Funk just said something this morning about it. Who has to lose?
I don't know who all has to lose. Meisner, do you? Oh,
the double champ. The double champ. I thought you don't look like McLean.
No, a little skinnier.
It's a tad bit. Where the fuck is McLean? Too busy at McDonald's?
He had an Apple appointment to fix his computer that he forgot about at 8 p.m. tonight, his time. So I naturally told Funk to come on and not to tell you because both of you, all 3 of you, have AFC teams with complications this week. So
Pittsburgh fucking stinks. Who are they playing?
Who?
Pittsburgh.
Baltimore.
Oh.
They're 3.5-point favorites though, because Baltimore's sitting everyone.
Yeah.
And I guess Chiefs are gonna sit everyone too, so they actually might lose and slip to 4. That might be a possibility.
Like I said, I'm the most confident I've ever been with this team. They're gonna light up.
We know what Beck thinks the Bills are going to do. I want to know what Funk and Meisner think the Bills are going to do against the Dolphins.
I mean, they should beat them, in my opinion. Dolphins look bad, but like, I don't know. If you give up explosive plays and fall behind, that's where you're going to get in trouble.
All right. Meisner, go ahead.
Hold on. Yeah. Meisner.
Go ahead. Are you on mute?
No, I thought you were gonna say something else. I got the injury report pulled up.
Go ahead. Please read it.
You want to know Miami's?
Yeah, please read it for the people.
Okay. Here we go.
Sheets, please listen. Get those big fat ears ready. Go ahead, Meisner.
Tua Tagovailoa is questionable week 18 with the shoulder.
He'll play. We'll fucking kill them.
Waddle, questionable week 18 with an ankle.
He's out. He won't be playing. Go ahead.
Raheem Mostert, questionable with the knee week 18.
I don't know.
Robert Hunt, he's the right guard, 6'6", 330. He is questionable with the hamstring week 18.
That line's garbage anyways.
Xavier Howard, doubtful week 18 with a foot. He's a corner. He's pretty good.
Yep. Go back to the bench. Dude's not playing. Foot injury, little bitch boy.
You guys don't pass the ball anyways.
That's fine. A weird
Bradley
one.
Chubb tore his ACL last week. He's done.
Him and Phillips. Chubb is having his best year.
Any
That
more,
clip of
Meisner?
Melvin crossing him up was actually
What?
pretty funny.
Jerome
Is
Baker,
Meisner?
outside linebacker. Knee has been on injured reserve, but expected to return to active roster week 18. Jerome Baker.
Go ahead, Meiser.
That's it for Miami.
That's not. You made it seem like Tua was out, Tyreek Hill's out.
I got one more.
I didn't even put Jalen. He's not playing. I heard this morning that he's like doubtful.
I got one more.
What is it?
One more to talk about. Isaiah Wynn, offensive guard. He's been on the IR with quadriceps. Expected to return week 18.
Tell you what, that fucking
Ooh.
conditioning and strength coach for fucking Miami should be fired.
You want to know Buffaloes, or should I talk about the game now?
Let's talk about the game. We're all playing. We're all healthy.
I think this is. I think the Dolphins are going to win. And then I think that the Steelers are going to win. And I think something bad might be happening. I don't know. I think they scripted you in. You were out. They scripted you in. And I think they're going to bounce you out. I don't think that's anything to do with Buffalo. I think this is what it looks like the league is going to do.
Meisner, do you know? Because I thought if Pittsburgh wins and the Colts win and Bills lose, they're out. But I think either team that wins between the Colts and Texans,
I was too busy.
wouldn't bypass them anyways.
Go ahead, Funk. Say that again. Who?
Is Funk breaking out for Beck or something? What do you mean? Go ahead, Funk.
Did you guys not hear me?
No,
I did.
Well, I'm not going to repeat myself.
On fucking Meisner's fucking retarded comments.
What was about the Dolphins winning?
Yes. Go ahead, Funk. What do you say? Who has to lose? That's all I need to know. Who has to lose?
No,
The Bills.
If Pittsburgh wins against Baltimore,
okay,
and then if Colts win, and then Bills lose, you guys are out. But I think that even if the Texans beat the Colts and Pittsburgh wins, I think it's the same thing. They'd have better division records. I think Texans would win the division too, right?
It goes head to head. It goes head to head first when it's two teams in different divisions.
Did Bills play any of them?
I'm gonna check.
I know either way. If
the Bills lose, the Steelers are in. The Bills are out. If the Steelers lose, the Bills lose. The Bills are still in. They're the 7. If the Bills win, the Dolphins lose. They're fucking clinched already, right? Doesn't fucking matter. There you go.
Yeah, I shouldn't be concerned about other teams losing. Don't get me wrong, because the Bills are going to march in there.
Pittsburgh, you should.
It's been 23 years.
Since what?
Hey, since
what?
Dolphins won the AFC champion or the AFC East. 23 years since they won the division. Okay, you talked about Russell. You talked about A-Chain or whatever that fucking his ass, whatever his name is. He had 101 yards. Okay. 2 tutties
On 8 carries. On 8 carries.
on 8 carries. But why didn't you mention Tyreek Hill in there? Because we held him to 3 for 58 with 0 tutties.
You know why I
And what
didn't
did-
mention that, Sheets, was
Because-
because I told
we're
you
not-
that they're going to try and run the ball, not pass. I said they're going to try and run the ball and control the
On
clock.
ball. Our interior D line is nasty. Our whole D line is nasty, and that's the thing with Miami. We're a divisional opponent, okay, and we know them very well, and we're matched up great against them on defense. We got some speed at the linebacking spot. Terrell Bernard, look him up. Dude's having a crazy year. Better than Bolton. His bum ass just got off IR.
Yeah, he got his wrist clubbed up.
Anyways, we're
We
gonna
still have 3 other
walk in there. We're gonna beat the
Shithead.
fucking piss out of Miami. Miser, I'll be the first one to text you, buddy. Just FYI. Sunday at like
I'm not
11:30.
rooting for it to happen. I'm not
Sunday
rooting
at-
for it to happen. I'm just speculating.
How do you think that they could beat Buffalo right now, Miser? What are you looking at, Sheets? Get your
Meisner, go
fucking-
ahead.
Well, I mean, I don't think that my perspective is different than other people's perspectives.
Okay, what's your perspective then? Like you heard my perspective.
That
What's
it's rigged. That it's rigged against Buffalo. That's what I'm trying to say. It's rigged against them. Man.
You
I
think
they're-
the
I
NFL is
think their ass
scripted?
gonna put the Pittsburgh Steelers in.
No. Who's playing quarterback for the fucking Steelers?
If anything,
Could
it'd be
be.
rigged for the Bills to get in.
No, it
Why-
could
In
be
why
both.
would
in
they
what
not
world would it
listen to
make
Josh
sense
Allen
to
in the
rig it so
playoffs?
Josh Allen is out of the playoffs?
You know how many
I don't
viewers
know.
that
It's the
Bills
NFL, dog. I have no
got
idea.
years ago?
Well,
You
it
realize-
might not be rigged then. Might not be
Okay.
rigged.
I'm not going to that fucking.
All
I'm
right.
not
All
going
right.
to that.
Enough about this Bills Dolphins game real quick, because I do want to get to
It's only been
the
like
Chiefs. We'll come
No.
back to the Bills Sheets, but I want to give Funk and Meisner some work on the Chiefs,
We beat
because
them already
Funk,
this year.
I don't know if you were listening earlier, but the Super Bowl odds, I just placed a future on them. They're plus
Yeah, I was
950,
listening.
the exact same as the Bills. Are you confident, Chiefs fan? I know you're typically a confident Chiefs fan, but based on the
Yeah.
past years, is this like the same feeling going into the playoffs, or is this different? Does this feel a little different? Because it feels like the train has kind of gone off the tracks here a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're fine until you beat us. I don't think there's any reason to be scared. I don't see a world where there's any game that they get blown out in the playoffs. So I think if you just keep carrying some momentum into it, things will go the right way. I mean, I didn't think they looked bad against the Bengals. That first half was pretty weird. They only had the ball for like 8 minutes total. Besides that MVS drop and the Hendrickson fumble, I thought they looked all right. If they punch 6 of those field goals in for touchdowns, it's a blowout. The defense tasted blood. They killed them. Game over. I like where we're sitting right now. I mean, obviously, we need a little more offensive production. That was actually the most amount of like explosive plays, I'd call it, they've had all season in a single game. They just couldn't capitalize in the red zone. So I don't know. I feel all right. And I mean, if we play a team like the Bills, chokers always choke. So
Nah.
But to be honest, the only team I probably don't want to play, not that I don't want to play in the playoff, but is probably, I mean, they're banged up, but teams that can get big plays on us like Miami. I know we fucked them up the first time we played them, but like a team that can make us fall from behind and play from behind is the scariest team.
I want to say, yeah, as of today, if the playoffs were next week, the Bills would be playing the Dolphins. But Meisner, what are your realistic expectations as maybe a Chiefs hater? Are you a Chiefs hater?
I think it's safe to say.
Funk.
I mean,
How do
haters
you
just
expect them to win if their receivers can't catch the ball?
Is your name Meisner, Beck?
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead, Meister.
Hater implies like you're just like you're a stupid hater. But I don't like them, no, and I think it's for good reason. I give you reasons why. It's not just a matter of I don't like that team. There's reasons behind it. I don't like the Chiefs. No, I don't.
Can I ask why you hate Andy Reid? Do you hate fat people?
No, I don't.
You don't hate fat people?
Variety,
You don't like Mr. Chicken Nuggies?
variety is the spice of life, my friend. You need fat people, short people, thin people. You know all that shit. I don't like Andy Reid because, well, he let his son coach a team and drive around drunk and injure kids. Wasn't a fan of that.
True.
And I just think there's better coaches. I think he gets hyped up too much. I mean, and if we're being honest, he probably should do something about his figure. It can't be healthy. It can't be. That's all I'm saying. I don't dislike people like that, but he probably could. He brags about eating 10 Whoppers and shit. I mean, he wears a giant coat. Looks like it's made for like 3 people, and he still looks big.
He doesn't have time to lose weight, man. He's all ball.
He's won a lot of games. I'm not denying that.
He's all ball. He should be out there sweating, getting ready with the players. He's a fat fuck.
He is. He's sweating, calling plays.
Oh my lord.
What's next, Sheets? How the
I got to.
gonna lose?
You're all in the. I'm looking ahead. We're in the playoffs. We're gonna beat the
I've
Bears.
never been a bigger Bears fan in my entire life than this weekend, baby.
Hey, you know what? If it so happens that the Packers lose and the Bills also lose and get out of the playoffs, that's fine. We'll just be on the same level, same team wise. No, but this is what I want to get to next, Sheets, is you're all 3 AFC teams. 2 of you with Super Bowl hopes, 1 with a hope to win a game or 2. If it's not the Chiefs, Bills, or Colts to win the Super Bowl, or to be in the Super Bowl, who's the AFC team to come out of it? Are the Dolphins the next best chance?
Nobody. If the
The
Chiefs
Ravens?
don't make it, I hope COVID strikes again and the league crumbles. Chiefs or nobody.
If you had to pick the Dolphins or Ravens to be in there, you're picking the Ravens, right?
I'm definitely not picking the Dolphins.
I'd probably pick the Ravens over the Dolphins.
How could you? Can I ask you this?
Yes.
They beat one team over 500. That was the Cowboys. How do you expect them to get to the playoff or to get through the playoffs if they haven't done that in the past 2 years? There's no fucking way they're going to get deep in the playoffs. Kansas City's going to beat them. Baltimore.
I tend to agree with you, Sheets. I've been all over that with the Cowboys too. If you haven't beat, a majority of 500 teams, that's a red flag. But that being said, it's not. I don't know. There's something about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Tua. If they're all healthy, they're not a team I want to play. They're a team that looks like on paper they can be able to string together 3 wins. Maybe they don't. They probably won't. But
that's why
I don't think you can count them out. I don't think you can count them out yet.
My fucking quarterback's a bulldozer. Fucking Tua's a little bitch. Go ahead.
Mize, do you have any? If you had to pick a team, not necessarily the best team, but if you had to pick a team out of the AFC to make it, that's not the Colts. Who would you like to see represent in the Super Bowl?
Right. If the Indianapolis Colts win this week and get in the playoffs, and it's not us for whatever reason, it wouldn't be us. I think you're looking at an AFC Championship game. Well, you said if you take both teams.
No, just the Colts, just the Colts.
If it's not us,
yes. If it's not the Colts, it can be the Bills and Chiefs. It can be the Bills and the Chiefs or anybody else.
So who's just going to be in the AFC Championship?
AFC Championship game, I'm looking at Kansas City, Miami.
We're going. All 4 of them.
If it's not Indy.
Which of those teams, assuming put Niners in the Super Bowl, who do you think out of the AFC has the best shot of beating the Niners?
Bills.
I don't think they're coming out, but if it's the Niners, I don't
Who's going to
know.
beat them, Meister?
a team has beat them before.
But who?
Kansas City.
It's all AFC teams, though.
Packers,
Browns,
Packers.
Niners.
Cowboys.
Like, oh my God, Meiser.
No.
What did you smoke before you got on this podcast? You said the Dolphins are going to win, and then you said the Cowboys are going to beat the Niners.
I don't know if they'll beat them. I think the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if they'll face them. If they do face them, they'll beat them. Yeah.
Did someone ask who would beat Funk? What did you just ask? Did you ask who is it that could beat the 49ers?
Yeah,
Right?
who out of the AFC has the best chance to beat them if they matched up against them?
I think that was answered 2 weeks ago or last week when the Ravens played the 49ers and put it on. I think the Ravens are the best chance. The Ravens are the best chance to beat the 49ers. But oh man, I think you're right. You just sparked another thought in my head, and I'm looking at the NFC playoff picture right now, and I think it's no doubt the 49ers to be in the Super Bowl.
I mean, I don't think it's no doubt, but like if Brock Purdy doesn't throw 4 picks like he's playing Iowa, I like the rest of their roster. They can play bully ball, throw teams around.
Here's why I say that. The Cowboys are the ultimate choking franchise. The Lions aren't there yet. Then it's the Bucks. Then it's the Eagles, who have proven just to be not a great football team the last 5-6 weeks. Then the Rams and the Packers, who are not even close to the 49ers level. So I don't know. I think the odds right now for them to win the Super Bowl are low, but I'd like to see them to win the NFC. Plus 210 to win the Super Bowl.
Here's my hot take of the playoffs. Okay?
What you got?
Because I know you asked me that. I think the only team that could beat the Niners would be the Bucks. That is my hot take. If they played each other, the Bucks might win. All you guys picked I picked the Seahawks. You guys picked, what was that game a couple Sundays ago?
Yeah, we're yeah.
So my hot take, you guys are giving me that look, and I'm gonna remember this.
That the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to beat the 49ers.
Yes, if they played each other. It's the only way the Niners wouldn't win.
Or it could be the Saints too.
Oh my God. Who's gonna crab legs? Is he gonna play at quarterback?
No, they have Derek Carr. He's really good.
That guy fucking stinks.
Meiser's a big Derek Carr fan, and he
That
thinks
guy
the Saints
fucking-
are going to be in the playoffs.
I was high on the Saints coming into the year, and they have been horrible.
I'll give him one more week.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, all they have is one more week,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You'll be
and
seeing.
then they're out.
Someone is at the front door.
So let me get this straight. We have someone with the hot take saying the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to beat the 49ers, and then the other guy is saying the Bucks aren't even going to be in the playoffs, and the Saints will be playing.
And they'll beat the 49ers probably too.
I'm on a virtual interview right now.
They have zero chance. Yeah, that's actually a good segue, Sheets. Let's it's called Lamb on the Line for a reason. Who else has a hot take? Let's go. Everyone's going to give a hot take, and Bex starts it off with Tampa Bay beats the 49ers.
Yes, that's what I think.
Funk, Meisner.
I'm ready to go.
The Super Bowl, baby.
I'm ready to go if you need me.
Go ahead, Meis.
I don't have a hot take, but goddamn, would I love to see Chiefs Colts in the playoffs.
I would do.
Is that possible?
Part of my stocking stuffers.
It's definitely possible.
If Bills win, nah, I think we'd still. I don't think it's possible.
Would you say Chiefs, Colts?
Yeah, I don't think it's possible. I think Colts.
Yes,
can
it
only
is.
Get in.
It is. It is possible because if the Bills end up being the 7th seed, the Colts, if they win, would jump.
Yeah, that's true.
I hope we don't play because I think we would lose.
All right,
I think
Steve.
we are.
Or fucking Nick Wright. You remind me of Nick Wright. That's who your name should be, Russell. You're fucking Nick Wright fan is what you are.
Also, I'd love to play the Browns too.
I don't think the Browns are that good.
If the Browns had to come to
I'd
Kansas
love to
Kansas
see-
City, yeah.
I would love for Joey Flacco to just walk into Arrowhead.
And beat you guys.
He would not.
I don't think he has.
He might leave the stadium quicker than DeMar did.
Meisner, what's your hot
Both
take?
teams left the
Blood.
stadium. Both teams left the stadium. It's not like DeMar left. They all had
Meisner,
to.
give me your hot take.
I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be in the Super Bowl. I don't know if we'll win it, but I think you're looking at Cowboys and Chiefs Super Bowl this year, and who the fuck knows what happens from there? That's up to the players on the field to decide. But that's what I think I'm looking at is on Kansas City and Dallas. I have some money on the 49ers to win the NFC and the Super Bowl too. I already have a future on them, but I think I might. I think it seems like it's too good to be true. I think a lot of people have money on that, so it seems like there's not a lot of value in there. I'm looking elsewhere. I'm looking at Dallas, a team who nobody thinks has never proven anything. I think they've ran that too many times now. I think they've ran that script too many times. I think this year they break through.
They ran that script.
And seriously. And the Chiefs, like I said, I'm already hearing the storylines. Patrick Mahomes has never played on the road before. Well, fuck. They love him. They're gonna have him go on the road and just whoop everyone's ass again. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm thinking that's what's gonna happen. And the Colts got Houston next week too, motherfuckers. That shit happens too. Ain't no hot take. That's bet. That's
Hey, after they win, after the Bills win, let me get on this podcast come Monday. This is my free invite.
Okay.
We'll give you a free invite. The guest sends out a free invite.
An hour, not a fucking half hour.
We'll see.
Meisner,
Huh?
you got one last question for you. 32-32 at halftime, Iowa, Wisconsin. Can Iowa cover the 3.5?
Oh, go
Yeah.
Hawks, baby.
Yeah, they can. I think they can.
We're right.
I'll go on record and say they will not take Wisconsin minus 3.5.
It was a 6.5, 7-point spread to start the game. It's tied at halftime. Watch out for those Hawks in the second half, man. I think they're gonna win this shit.
Gone, baby.
I'm gonna actually bet the other side right now, but my hot take is the Packers are gonna win 2 games in the playoffs, and they're gonna return to the NFC Championship game, especially if we play the Cowboys.
Not a
first round.
bias.
Russ, this is a big dub of a season for you guys. Exact same spot without Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
You got another chance to get in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, when you play in that shit division and shit conference, you fucking that shit
Hey,
schedule. Let me look at your schedule. Have you beat anyone?
we just
fucking
beat the
Jordan
Lions and the Chiefs 2 weeks in
Yeah,
a
they
row,
beat
back
us.
to back.
The Chiefs aren't. I mean, they're fucking garbage. You got them at the right.
Dak doesn't watch any football besides the Buffalo Bills, and that's fine. But he has
I know.
no idea what's going on.
I only know that
outside
there's
of
one
Buffalo.
game every Sunday.
Yes, that's my point. Who have they beat? They just beat the Lions and the Chiefs. Sheets back to back.
I knew
Literally
that. Sheets.
3-4 weeks ago.
I knew that. But you
Beck.
got the Chiefs at the wrong time or the right
Heck,
time.
you're coming back on this podcast, even if they lose too and you miss playoffs.
They're
See
not.
you crying the blues over there.
Here's the thing.
You might sell the franchise.
Even if we lose, it's not the end of the day because we still get a chance in the playoffs. But we're not
Hey,
going.
I got a deal. I got a deal to make you. Back.
Actually, we'll know by then.
No, I'm saying
There's
lose.
not
and
even
miss it.
I'm not even thinking about that. Go ahead, Sheets. There's no
I
way
got-
Miami beats Buffalo.
I got a deal for you. If Buffalo
I'll bet you $100
Wins.
right.
if Buffalo wins and makes the playoffs, you'll come on Lamb on the Line.
Yeah.
But if they lose and they don't make the playoffs, you have to
See.
sit here and come on the podcast for a full half hour just so we can rip you and the Bills. Was that a fair
Duct tape
deal?
mouth
Sheets. There's not.
Yep.
with a
That's
choker. With a
Sure.
choker.
sure, but I'm gonna do that to you if they win. I'm gonna do that to all you punk asses who fucking think
Hey.
Miami's gonna beat them.
Meisner's the only one who said Miami's going to win. I think they have a chance, and I think it'd be hilarious. So I'm cheering for them. I do think the Bills will win the game.
How Sheets? Let me ask you this: How would that happen?
Hey,
Well, I mean,
actually,
you barely beat the Pats.
before we say see you
Bills
later, Sheets.
also had Ken Dorsey.
Hey, before we
Just say
say
that-
see you later, Sheets is let's talk Colts Texans.
What?
I know it's not your two teams, but Colts Texans, huge game next week.
Where's
Colts
it
are
at?
the spot. It's in Indianapolis. Meisner's
Give me
already
the
said
Colts.
the Colts are winning, no doubt. He said he'd chop off his left hand if the Colts lose. He are automatically in the playoffs. So yeah, I
I
know
will
Beck
literally-
doesn't watch much of the Colts, but
Miami wins. I'll chop my balls off if Miami wins.
I'm just taking the home team. I think it's a coin toss of a game.
you think Gardner Minshew holds it down in Indianapolis against C.J. Stroud and the Texans?
I think so. I mean, Texans aren't that crazy, but I like the home field advantage. That place will be going crazy. Big Cat and PFT, maybe they show up with their season tickets. Or Meisner, maybe you text them and ask them for the season tickets.
I need to text him.
I think so. That'd be
Meisner,
crazy.
did you know that they have season tickets to the Colts?
I did not
Really?
know.
They bought them at the beginning of the year. I think they were like
Who did?
Big Cat.
Big Cat and
They're
PFT, and they
the
give them away.
cheapest season tickets they could find. They were like $1,200 a seat, and they bought like 8 of them.
And they give them away on Twitter. I'm surprised.
Yeah,
Actually, I
that's what I'm
think
saying.
I saw some dude, Charlie Waffles won 4 tickets to the Colts game.
Really?
I did see that on Twitter.
We know Charlie. Charlie's a good friend of the show.
Charlie's a great friend of the show.
What's Buffalo like? 11 hours from here, or from Des Moines?
The drive?
Yeah, y'all know. If the
It's like
Chiefs play
20.
the Bills in the AFC Championship up in Buffalo, we're going. We'll drive
All right.
up there.
I'll be flying while you
I'll-
can
I'll
drive
show
to
you.
Buffalo.
Okay. Have fun paying for $1,000 ticket. You fucking loser.
Have fun
You gonna get a
driving.
flat tire on the way.
Oh, it's 13 hours. It's not that bad, actually. But all right, man. It's
It's
Meisner.
13.
Send us off, Meisner.
Fellas, thanks for joining us today. It's a very important week coming up for all of us. There's a lot on the line for all of our teams here today or next week. So for the rest of the week, just take it one day at a time. Bring in that good karma. Do what you got to do. And I'm manifesting a Colts win. You manifest a win for your teams. I think good things will happen. I'm not cheering for Miami to win. I just think that's what will happen. If you want who I want to win, I don't like Miami. No, I want Buffalo to get that 2 seed. Absolutely.
Master.
I like Josh Allen. I like Sean McDermott. I like Buffalo much more than Miami. I just don't. I think the league might have other things to that, but we'll see. Either way, thanks for joining us. It's a big week. All you NFL fans out there, whether your team's still in it or whether it's not, you got 1 week left to enjoy your team. So have at it. We'll be back next week to break down all of the fun. There's going to be some twists and turns in there, so I'm looking forward to next week. The playoffs episode is next week, so be tuned. We're back to a regular schedule now. Monday. Thanks for coming in.